land of my fathers. So called because, for many Welsh people, their father could be any one of a number of men in the local rugby team. But who are the Welsh? And why? According to the Bible, God created Wales in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he sat down for a rest. And what he sat on is Rill. That's one theory. However, according to the scientists, we're all descended from monkeys, who were themselves descended from people in Rill. Which is why in Rill, everybody knows their family tree, because they're all still living in the branches. Anyway, whoever he was, the identity of the first Welshman is a complete mystery. All we know about him for certain is, he's dead. But at the Twat Institute in Fishguard, they've been doing some research. The Twat Institute, set up by Mayor of Fishguard, Mr. Kerry Twat, to find a way of genetically modifying his legs to make him taller, is well known in the world of science for their theory that global warming is being caused by people speaking Welsh.
Why?
Shut up, man.
Oh, sorry.
And scientists at the Twat Institute believe that this pair of underpants, found in a cave near Uppercombe Tuch, is 10,000 years old and was worn by the very first human being to live in Wales. Right now, they're running DNA tests on a 10,000-year-old stain found in the pants to find out just what sort of a bloke the first Welshman was. I hope to bring you the results later in this programme. In the meantime, let's move on. Hello there. Do you realise that we've edited this bit of old film to make it look like I'm talking to you?
Yes. It's easily to understand, but I don't think the pedestrian can do the same.
What? What's a pedestrian got to do with it? Do you understand what's going on? You're in a bit of old film, and it looks like you were listening to what I'm saying. You don't get it, do you?
No.
What do you think about all that stuff where we take the piss out of Fishguard?
I object to it.
What about where we cut up old interviews to make people look stupid?
I object to it. I don't care for the idea at all.
It's hard luck then, isn't it, really? BMW, Alfa Romeo, Volvo. Never mind that foreign rubbish. Why not drive a Welsh car for a change? Why not drive a Gwilym? Yes, they don't come any Welsher than the Gwilym Tidy. It's stylish, but it's safe as well. And in the likely event of an accident, your passenger is hurled out of the car for safety. It's so safe, you don't even need a seatbelt. Any other car would have had glass in that windscreen, and your passenger would have ended up looking like Anne Robinson. Get a Gwilym Tidy. It goes like a car. Fact. Global warming is actually happening. Fact. Every time you drive your car, you make it worse. Fact. You're a stupid, thoughtless bastard. So what's the answer? The Gwilym Envirovan's the answer. Sustainable, safe, but above all, stylish. The Gwilym Envirovan doesn't just turn corners, it turns heads as well. And on a full tank of straw, the Envirovan has a range of nearly 500 yards, so it's ideal for those journeys where it would be more sensible to walk. Save the world today. Get a Gwilym Envirovan tomorrow. Right, forgetting about Rill for the moment, and I'm not the only one who'd like to do that, it's obvious that as far as religion goes, and some people think that's a bit too far, Wales has got something. So much so that Jesus Christ himself, the man who could walk on water, then turn it into wine, although it probably didn't taste very nice after he'd just trodden in it, chose Wales as the location for his second coming. Once again, appearing in a place called Bethlehem, but this time, the one near Llandailo. He's still doing the act with the loaves and fishes, but now he's charging £15 a head to cover administration costs, which is a lot of money for a sardine sandwich, particularly when you can see David Blaine do something really amazing for half that price. I caught up with the Son of God on the Fishguard leg of his comeback tour. Right, what should I call you then? Redeemer? Saviour? Mr. Christ?
Please.
Well, still doing the same old act then with the loaves and fishes. And perhaps, not surprisingly, the tour's not going very well, is it? You've actually got the disciples out now, in fact, trying to find an audience for the night's show, haven't you?
The responsibility will be to not
on every door identify for any elderly, handicapped or housebound people or those who might find extreme difficulty if...
Sorry to interrupt there, but you're deliberately targeting vulnerable people, yeah?
To ensure that people who are less firm of mind than you and I fully understand the situation, they will be encouraged to...
Sorry to interrupt again there, but the disciples are encouraging people who are a bit tough to part with large amounts of cash, yeah? What do you think about what the disciples are up to?
Well, is it decent? Is it decent? I mean, you asked me that. You answered me that question. Is it decent? I don't think it is.
What do you think should be done about it?
Ban it.
What will you say to Jesus ripping off old age pensioners?
Well, I wouldn't say anything. That's up to him. But as for myself, I think it's disgusting.
£15 for a cheap snack. Bit much, isn't it?
Well, certainly, we're quite disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. What do you think?
I think it's ridiculous.
I just said that. Oh. Eh? Oh. What? Oh. What do you think of Jesus and the disciples charging money for miracles?
I think they're absolutely disgusting.
Do you think you might become a Satanist now?
Yes, I do.
Earlier on, I mentioned the Druids. Now, a lot of people think they're just a bunch of tossers dressed up in bedsheets. And while that's true, there is more to them than that. I'm talking about music and poetry. The Welsh are a very musical nation, covering everything from plop music with the Manic Street Sweepers to opera with Bryn Turdville. And it's at the Welsh National Eisteddfod, held annually every year in a muddy field, that this extraordinary innate musical talent is nurtured and cherished.
Papa Ledwig Achin Buru on my diffy wines aglow, and he looks up to Natalana includes a ball right down. What is kid una drivnon visi blank Anna between me una kill you agina big dear one's up.
Angela Monkey there. Just after she sang that, her voice broke. And what about the Welsh national anthem? Where did Bach, that Welshest of all composers, get the idea for such a rousing, patriotic melody? Well, it came to him in his local pub, the Crab and Prostitute, here in Cumbrab.
Coracle crazy? You need Challenge magazine for people who are crazy about coracles. Challenge magazine. It's the one top paddlers read.
Mainly because it's a challenge. First of all, it's a challenge for me. Secondly, it's a challenge for the coracle. And again, it's a personal challenge for me.
Challenge magazine. Find out how coracles get wet.
It's easily to understand.
Why coracles are more popular than cars.
Yes.
And what's Gerard Pillock's greatest challenge?
Myself.
There's fashion. Health. And sex from coracle groupie Nipples Thomas, who reveals the truth about water sports in a monthly column, Up My Creek Without a Paddle. Read what top judge Herbert Dipp says about the Coracle of the Year show.
I do know what I'm talking about.
And discover the secret ingredient that makes Gobbitt's Coracle Wax the choice of champions.
It's a challenge for me.
Yes, it's a challenge for everyone. Challenge magazine tells you all you need to know about coracles and the men who paddle them.
It's a challenge.
Out now. Free Wellington boat with every copy.
It's impossible to talk about Welsh history for long without mentioning the past. A very wise person once said that the past is a different country. Unfortunately, he didn't say which one, so it's not much use to us. But you can't go very far in Wales without getting a sense of antiquity. Unless you've gone to Rhyl, of course, where you can't get any sense at all. Wales is a land full of ancient ruins, many of them thousands of years old. They're very popular with tourists, which is why dozens of brand new ancient ruins go up every week. When it's finished, this one's going to be called Ron Davis Hall. It's a ruined stately home. But the oldest erections in Wales are the standing stones. They probably had a religious purpose, although they're very handy to nip behind if you want a wee-wee as well. There are loads of them, possibly because the early Welsh had a lot of prostate trouble, but more likely because they were very religious. They worshipped old pagan gods with strange names like Pol and Lala and Gareth, who still worshipped in Wales today. There's a statue of him in the centre of Cardiff.
And after the Druids with their thousands of standing stones came the Celtic Christians with thousands of Celtic saints, followed by the nonconformists with thousands of chapels.
What is it about Wales that makes people want to get down on their knees? To pray, I mean. I'm not talking about Ron Davis now. Is it because Wales is a holy land? It's certainly got plenty of holes in it, and it's referred to in the Bible.